In today's fast-moving world, life often feels rushed, noisy, and restless. We wake up with responsibilities, we move through the day with pressure, and we sleep with unfinished thoughts. Many people feel tired, even after rest. Many feel busy, even when doing nothing. In this search for peace, the word yoga appears everywhere. On screens, in gyms, on social media, and in advertisements. Yoga is often shown as stretching, fitness, flexibility, or physical balance. But yoga, in its original essence, is something far deeper. Yoga is not just movement of the body. Yoga is not just control of breath. Yoga is a sacred science of life. The ancient seers of India did not create yoga for appearance or performance. They discovered yoga through deep observation of life itself. They observed the breath, the mind, nature, and consciousness. They asked one simple question: why does the human mind suffer, even when life seems comfortable? Yoga was their answer. Yoga was passed from teacher to student, not through books alone, but through lived experience. This wisdom traveled silently for thousands of years, protected through discipline, humility, and practice. Today, through Yogic Drive, we return to these roots. This is not a lesson to memorize. This is not information to rush through. This is an invitation to slow down, listen, and reflect. As you listen, allow the breath to soften. Allow the body to relax. There is nothing to achieve here. There is nowhere to reach. Only understanding. Yoga begins with a simple realization. Human suffering does not come from the world alone. It comes from how we experience the world within. External situations change constantly, but the mind reacts, remembers, imagines, and fears. Yoga seeks to understand this inner mechanism. The ancient yogic texts explain that a human being is not a single structure. We are not just a physical body. We are a layered existence. To understand yoga, we must first understand ourselves. This is where yogic wisdom begins, not with postures, but with awareness. According to yogic philosophy, the human being is made of multiple layers of existence, known in Sanskrit as kosas, pronounced koshas, which means layers or sheaths of existence. These layers describe how our physical body, breath, mind, intelligence, and inner joy function together as one unified being. Yoga works not by fixing one part, but by harmonizing all layers. Let us begin gently from the outermost layer. The outer layer is called Annamaya Kosha, pronounced Anamaya Kosha, which means the physical body sustained by food. This includes bones, muscles, organs, posture, and physical health. This body is shaped by what we eat, how we move, and how we rest. Yogic postures are called asana, pronounced asuna, which means a steady and comfortable posture. In classical yoga, asana is not exercise. It is preparation. Preparation for stillness. A body that is restless cannot support a peaceful mind. Therefore, yoga begins by creating stability in the body. Beyond the physical body exists a subtler layer known as pranamaya kosha, pronounced pranamaya kosha, which means the life force or energy body. This layer governs breathing, circulation, digestion, and vitality. When breath becomes shallow, the mind becomes anxious. When breath becomes steady, the mind begins to settle. Yogic breathing practices are called pranayama, pronounced pranayama, which means expansion and regulation of life energy. Through breath, yoga touches both body and mind at the same time. Deeper than breath lies the mental layer, called manomaya kosha, pronounced manomaya kosha, which means the mental and emotional body. This is where thoughts arise. This is where emotions flow. This is where memories repeat. Most people live almost entirely within this layer, without realizing it. Yoga does not fight the mind. Yoga observes it. This observation slowly creates freedom. The mental layer, manomaya kosha, pronounced manomaya kosha, which means the mental and emotional body, is constantly moving. Thoughts arise, emotions follow, memories repeat, and imagination travels into the future. Most people believe, I am my thoughts. Yoga invites a different understanding. Thoughts are events. Emotions are movements. But awareness is the witness. When we do not observe the mind, it controls us. When we observe the mind, it slowly loses its grip. Yoga does not demand silence immediately. It asks only for attention. Beyond the thinking mind lies a deeper intelligence called Vijnanamaya Kosha, pronounced Vijnanamaya Kosha, which means the body of wisdom and discernment. This layer allows us to recognize truth from habit, clarity from confusion. It is here that intuition awakens. When decisions come from this layer, life feels aligned rather than forced. Yoga strengthens this inner intelligence through reflection, meditation, and ethical living. Deeper still is Anandamaya Kosha, pronounced Anandamaya Kosha, which means the body of bliss or deep inner joy. This joy does not depend on success or failure. It is not excitement or pleasure. It is quiet contentment, a sense of wholeness. Yoga reminds us that peace is not something to be created. It is something to be uncovered. The foundation of all yogic practice is awareness, known as smrti, pronounced smriti, which means mindful remembrance and present awareness. Awareness transforms ordinary actions into practice. Walking becomes meditation. Breathing becomes prayer. Listening becomes presence. Yoga is not limited to the mat. It flows into daily life. Yogic discipline is called tapas, pronounced tapas, which means sincere effort with inner warmth and commitment. Tapas is not force. It is steady dedication without harshness. Regular practice, simplicity, and patience are expressions of tapas. Transformation happens quietly. Another pillar of yoga is svadhyaya, pronounced svadhyaya, which means self-study and self-observation. By watching our reactions, habits, and emotional patterns, we learn about ourselves. By studying sacred texts, we learn from timeless wisdom. Both forms of study support inner growth. Yoga also teaches surrender through Ishvara Pranadhana, pronounced Ishvaru Pranadhana, which means surrender to a higher intelligence or universal order. Surrender does not mean weakness. It means trust. Trust that life is larger than our fears. Trust that growth unfolds naturally. Yogic psychology explains suffering through 5 root causes called kleshas. The first is avidya, pronounced avidya, which means ignorance or misunderstanding of reality. Ignorance causes us to mistake the temporary for the permanent. From ignorance arises asmita, pronounced asmita, which means ego or false identity. Ego forms when we over-identify with roles and labels. Then come raga, pronounced raga, which means attachment or craving, and dvesha, which means aversion or resistance. These patterns pull the mind between desire and fear. Finally, there is abhinavesha, which means fear of loss or fear of death. This fear exists deeply within all beings. Yoga does not suppress these tendencies. It dissolves them through awareness. Meditation is known as dhyana, which means effortless awareness and observation. Meditation is not concentration alone. It is relaxed presence. Before meditation, yoga introduces pratyahara, which means withdrawal of the senses from external distraction. As awareness deepens, dharana, which means steady concentration, naturally develops. When concentration flows without effort, samadhi, which means complete absorption or unity with awareness. Samadhi is not something to chase. It appears when resistance dissolves. Yoga emphasizes balance through madhyama marga, which means the middle path. Avoiding extremes supports long-term peace. Balance sustains clarity. Ethical living is guided by yama, which means moral disciplines, and niyama, which means personal observances. Truthfulness, nonviolence, contentment, and discipline stabilize the mind. Yoga does not require renunciation of life. One can live as a grihastha, which means a householder, and still walk the yogic path. Yoga happens in relationships, responsibilities, and daily actions. Awareness is the bridge. As we come to the close of this session, there is nothing to conclude and nothing to achieve. Yoga does not end when the words stop. It continues quietly, within. Allow the breath to slow down, naturally. There is no need to control it. Just notice the rhythm that is already present. Notice the body, not as something to correct or improve, but as something to respect. The body has carried you through every moment of your life. Yoga begins with gratitude for this living vessel. Notice the mind. Thoughts may still arise. This is natural. Yoga never asked the mind to disappear. It only asked us to stop being pulled by every movement. In this moment, there is no past to solve. There is no future to prepare for. There is only awareness. Yoga gently reminds us that peace is not found by adding more to life. Peace is revealed by removing what is unnecessary. What remains is simplicity. What remains is clarity. The ancient yogic sages did not rush. They observed life slowly, patiently, and deeply. They understood that transformation happens quietly, like dawn arriving without sound. Yoga does not demand perfection. It invites sincerity. Even a small moment of awareness can soften a lifetime of tension. As you return to daily life, remember that yoga walks with you. It is present in the way you breathe. It is present in the way you listen. It is present in the way you respond, rather than react. Let actions arise from steadiness. Let speech arise from kindness. Let thoughts arise from clarity. This is yoga. If this space of reflection felt meaningful to you, you are welcome to subscribe to Yogic Drive. This channel exists to share authentic yogic wisdom rooted in Hindu tradition with calmness, clarity, and respect. Your support allows these teachings to continue slowly and sincerely. In the next part, we will explore Ashtanga Yoga, which means the eight-limbed path of yoga, and how it guides everyday life step by step. Part 2 is coming soon. Until then, move gently through life. Breathe with awareness. And remember, the journey inward is always open.